Welcome back, friends. Can you guess who I'm talking about? Put it into the comments and how long it took you to figure out who I'm talking about. Today's story. You're wrong. Robert had always been a rebel, sent away to a strict military academy as a boy. He chafed under the rules. He was loud, he was brash, and he had the habit of marching to the beat of his own drum. He finally made it to an Ivy League college, Brown University no less. But his academic career was cut short when he was expelled. The reason? He was caught entertaining a young lady in his dormitory room. His father was a hard-driving, demanding man. A man who had built a respectable business down south, selling outdoor advertisements, billboards. But the father was also a man haunted by demons. In March of 1963, he made a fateful, tragic decision. Overwhelmed by debt from buying out a competitor and sinking into deep depression, Robert's father took his own life. Suddenly, at just 24 years old, young Robert found himself the head of the grieving family and the head of a billboard company drowning in a sea of red ink. And here was the problem. Before he died, his father had already agreed to sell off the best pieces of the company. Financial advisors, the bankers, even loyal employees, they all gave the young man exactly the same advice. Let it go. The buyers were lined up and ready. They would take the mountain of debt off the hands and leave him with a modest sum, enough to start a life over somewhere else. But young Robert, the college dropout, the rebel, looked at those gray-haired men in those tailored suits and said no. He fought the sale, maneuvered a deal apart, and kept the family business. And run it he did. He worked 80 hours a week. He sweet-talked the creditors. He hustled out on the roads to sell space on those giant signs. Within just a few short years, the drowning billboard company wasn't just afloat. It was a cash-generating machine. But Robert was restless. Billboards were fine, but he saw something else on the horizon. Against the advice of every single expert he knew, he took the profits from the billboard company and bought a small, struggling UHF television station in Atlanta, Channel 17. It was a joke of a station. Its signal barely reached across the city. To fill the endless hours of dead time, Robert bought up cheap old black and white movies, ancient sitcoms, and local professional wrestling matches. The broadcast industry laughed. But then Robert had a crazy idea. He heard about a new technology called satellites. What if, he wondered, he took the little local UHF signal, he beamed it up to the satellite in space, and bounced it back down to the cable provider across the country. In December of 1976, he did exactly that. The industry stopped laughing, because the little joke of a station became the world's first superstation. And Robert didn't stop there. In 1980, he decided the world needed a television network dedicated entirely to news, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The seasoned journalist coughed. The chicken noodle network, they called it. They said nobody would ever want to watch news at 3 o'clock in the morning. They were wrong. The rebel who was kicked out of college, the 24-year-old boy who refused to let go of his father's failing billboard business, changed the way the entire globe received its information. You see, young Robert's middle name was Edward, but his friends, his competitors, and the whole wide world knew him simply as Ted. The founder of TBS, TNT, and CNN, Mr. Ted Turner. And whether you realize it or not, this is the landing point.